What's up, guys? This is the Leafs Convo podcast for Vanguard Northeast Realty in Scarborough, vanguardne.ca. It is Thursday, June 13th, 2019, the day after the St. Louis Blues win the Stanley Cup. Joining me on the line, the one and only Michael Augello. And Michael, I hope the Raptors can go the way of the Blues and clinch a major championship on the road.
Good afternoon, Norman. The Raptors will have a Canadian good luck charm in Sarah McLachlan singing the national anthem at the Oracle Center in Oakland. So maybe that'll push them over the edge towards their first NBA title. But we know how good of a luck charm Laura Branigan is for the St. Louis Blues.
Sure.
I know that some Leaf fans have some mixed feelings about seeing Tyler Bozak carrying around the Stanley Cup, but I have to feel happy for the guy because, it wasn't like he had asked his way out of Toronto. He served the Leafs loyally for 9 years. If you remember that famous Game 7 in 2013, he was out injured and was replaced by Joe Colburn. So he experienced it last year, but he finally wins a Game 7 in Boston, along with former Leafs Carl Gunnarsson and Alex Steen. And I'm sure most fans in Leafland are extremely happy that Brad Marchand was crying in his towel in the locker room at TD Garden.
I love the meme sent out. Somebody made it. Marchand crying in his towel and Marchand licking a crying Marchand. Amazing. The question is, though, will Adia do it for the Raptors the same way Gloria did it for the Blues, Mike? Don't answer that. Why would anybody be pissed off at Tyler Bozak? I mean, he came out of one of the worst periods of recent memory for the Maple Leafs. He did everything that was asked of him. So what are we pissed off at him for? The team he went to was good enough to hoist the jug. Your beloved Maple Leafs, our beloved Maple Leafs, were not and are still not good enough. Don't begrudge that guy for winning a cup. He did nothing wrong. Celebrate the cat for 2 seconds, and let's get back to business of building this team to become a cup winner at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people out there that begrudge Tyler Bozak a Stanley Cup. I mean, I just think they wish it had happened while he was in blue and white, but that's not of his making. That's of the making of the Leafs organization and their inability to put together a team like St. Louis, who, you have to say, I think they won the physical battle over the Bruins, and by winning the physical battle, they won the overall battle, and that's something that I think Kyle Dubas should take a page from, because I think the only way you're going to get by teams like Tampa and Boston in the East is to play a physical game and have enough skill to do one of either function, and that's the only way the teams win, is to be multifaceted.
You mean synchronized skating won't get it done in the future?
No, I'll go on a limb and say no.
It would have been nice to have Tyler Bozak hoist the cup as a member of the Maple Leafs, but none of the teams he was on was good enough to win a Stanley Cup. That 13 team, the last few years, no. The thing is, the Leafs this year seem to have some of the ingredients that could have taken them all the way, but even with a lead in Game 6 while up 3-2 in the series, they just didn't have the intestinal fortitude to make it happen. That's what bothers me about what we saw from the Maple Leafs. The question is, what does Kyle Dubas do to empower the group we just saw go 7 with the Bruins, the Stanley Cup finalists, and take them to the next level? Does he have that opportunity? Which leads me to my next question. What's going on with Nikita Zaitsev? When is his ass traded out of town? The sooner the better. And where's he going?
Well, Darren Dreger reported this morning that there's some speculation regarding 2 teams that have had defensive issues over the years, Vancouver and Edmonton, having interested in Zaitsev. And, I mean, the reason is Zaitsev is locked up on a fairly affordable deal. The term may be a little long, but he is 27 years old, and he would be an improvement in terms of a depth add. He's a top 4 defenseman. So, as a 3 or 4 with either one of them, and they have a lot of vacant cap space and at least Vancouver does, and a need on the blue line, which Edmonton has. But as a question of what they get back for either one of them, I know that Drager didn't mention this, but I sort of, and I'm going to write about this a little later on today for Hockey Buzz. If there's a trade involving Vancouver for Nikita Zaitsev, I would guess that Chris Tanev is one of the pieces that comes back in that deal, because Tanev makes almost as much as Zaitsev, And I believe Vancouver is ready to walk away from a player who's been oft injured for them the last 3 or 4 years. And he's a Toronto boy, and there's been talk about Tanev for years. So I wouldn't doubt that Tanev would be part of what comes back for
Yeah, he's
Zaitsev.
been part of our speculation going back the past year. I mean, you can look it up, OG's Converse, check it out on the YouTube channel. It's all there. How does Tanev improve what Zaitsev's about to leave behind?
Well, I mean, he's a right-hand shot. He can skate, and he's I think more of a defensive defenseman. So in that situation, you're basically looking for someone who can replace Zaitsev in the lineup. Maybe he doesn't have all the same qualities that Zaitsev has, but if the Leafs are able to trade Zaitsev and clear the 4 years remaining after this year of his contract at $4.5 million, it might open up the cap space down the line to re-sign Jake Gardiner, but I still think that's not a great likelihood because Gardiner is going to be in a position to probably make $6 million or more in free agency in a very thin free agent year. But there is some speculation out there that Gardiner wants to come back and the Leafs want to find a way to bring him back, but that's almost impossible unless they trade Zaitsev and take Little back.
Gardiner represent more of the same, and OG's Converse, you can get involved in this. Does he represent more of the same and not an improvement? Would you rather see this team either improve or maybe shuffle the deck with young guys instead of bring back Jake Gardiner and essentially stay status quo?
Yeah, I mean, to my mind, Gardner is sort of a been there, done that type of thing. I mean, yes, he's a puck rusher. He produces points, but you know what he is. He's always going to be a flawed defensive player. Do the Leafs really
need like 5 of those guys?
No, and then that's why, like, I would be in favor of not bringing him back, in favor of going out and getting another type of defenseman, either in free agency or by trade. But I think what the Leafs are looking at is if they can get Gardner signed for less than what most other teams can get him signed for, the comfort level of having him there. They would say that bringing him back is a good addition, and that maybe the improvements happen by adding somebody who could replace, say, Ron Hainsey, or bringing in somebody that can replace Nikita Zaitsev. Personally, I think they need to go a different direction, but unfortunately, I'm not general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Shout outs to Jonathan Horton, Billy Bob, and Bridget Haftelin. The draft is en route. What do you see from the Maple Leafs on draft night? Any dealings? I mean, I'm not saying that they're in a position of strength in terms of selection, but everybody's in the same place. Kyle Dubas knows what he has to do.
The aim and the focus in Vancouver is going to be trade, because the Leafs, I mean, it's possible that they make a deal where they move up into the first round. Anything is possible. This draft is not like, say, 2015 or 2016, where I think everybody is looking to keep their picks. This is an instance where I think, they could move up if there's somebody from the late second round and there's somebody in the high second round or low first round that they really are targeting. But I think the focus of Kyle Dubas is going to be on trades and on getting some of his restricted free agents signed. And if he can't, then to make moves accordingly. So I don't think that the draft picks are going to be the things that really people are going to be focused on when it comes to Toronto.
It really is nice that the Blues won the Stanley Cup, and the year before that, the Capitals, a couple of teams that have never done it before, Mike. Refreshing, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I saw somebody tweet out yesterday that this was, it was Elliot Friedman, that, this is a decade for long streaks. The Kings in 2012, the Bruins were for over 40 years in 2011, and obviously now the Blues and the Capitals. And I posted the open question, well, what about the team that has the longest streak? And will 2020, the end of the decade, be that year for them? And who knows?
Do the Maple Leafs have a base of talent that can transform into a juggernaut, into a dynasty, Mike? Is it possible in this day and age?
I think they have the core of that team, but I think that for this team to be a legitimate Stanley Cup contender for the next 5 or 6 years, you're going to have to find those support players who make it possible for the Leafs to win. I mean, they've got Tavares, they've got Matthews and Marner, and Morgan Riley is a number one defenseman. A lot of teams don't have those pieces, but where they're falling short is they need what St. Louis had in Pat Maroon and even Ivan Barbashev and Oscar Sundqvist, these role players who all they did was go out and hammer everybody, physically devastate teams. And what this St. Louis Blues victory over the Bruins proves is that heavy hockey is playoff
but aren't
winning
we told
hockey.
And that's the thing. That ice capades will win out over roller derby?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like
when though?
Right now, you look at it. You need skill and speed in the regular season. At some points, you need it during the playoffs, but you also need heavy hockey to win. So you need a team that's multifaceted. You cannot have a team that is completely slow afoot and tries to bash everybody because they'll get skated into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But you also can't have a team of guys, all they do is pirouette and make behind-the-back passes. You need a balance. And St. Louis had skill and speed, and they also had guys who could slam you into the wall.
Ryan O'Reilly, what kind of hockey player is he? I know he's been revered for years when it comes to his overall skill set and his abilities, showcased through 16 wins this spring. The Conn Smythe winner. I mean, he's a legendary status now. Can someone on the YouTube comment section marginalize this guy, please, and put his stats up against a analytic dynamo and tell us how bad he is? Please, somebody do it. Tell us how his brand of hockey is not the way of contemporary hockey and certainly not the way of the future. Somebody do it. I want you to tell me why this guy is not that great, and players who are all about skill and are afraid of their own shadow win the day.
Well, I know that fans in Buffalo right now are a little irked that the guy that they traded for a couple salary dumps and a grade B prospect in Tage Thompson, wins a Stanley Cup 12 months after they traded him. That is not going well with the Sabres fan base. And honestly, like I said, I'm very happy for Alex Steen, for Carl Gunnarsson, and for Tyler Bozak winning the Stanley Cup. I think most fans in Toronto are very happy that they won as opposed to the Bruins. But now the focus switches to, what the Leafs can do in the next few months before the beginning of training camp to put together a team that has a better chance of winning a Stanley Cup. And it's not going to be easy because the Bruins will be back. Tampa Bay is going to be better. Washington, the East is tough. And the task for Kyle Dubas is even tougher.
Everybody's going to be hungry to make amends for seasons that didn't go well. And I hope the Maple Leafs are in that boat, because I'll tell you what, up 3-2 in the series, winning 1-0 in Game 6, and then you just shit the bed. I hope that stings, and I hope that's a motivator for the season to come. Michael, I know you're in the far reaches of Lackawanna. Thanks for hanging in there, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Norm.
We would like to thank Vanguard Northeast Realty in Scarborough, title sponsor of the Leafs Convo, demonstrating passion for the industry and a superior level of excellence in selling, leasing, and marketing your property. Vanguard Northeast Realty.